coming to the end of Super Cup Northern Ireland 2019. It's kind of the first time our partnership has come together at a major tournament. Just wonder if you could actually start, Spalding, by just giving a quick introduction to yourself and who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so obviously I'm Mark Spalding, I'm a Technical Director here at Global Premier Soccer. My role is to work with the various partner clubs and the affiliate clubs and the fully owned and operated GPS clubs, not just within North America but within Europe and hopefully further expansion. So I work with the kind of main footballing contacts, on things like methodology, curriculum, player pathway, player progression and player opportunities. And obviously that's how we led to some of the stuff not only with the International Academy but also providing opportunities for the young players at Bracknell to experience high events like the Super Cup Northern Ireland.
So to you, Steve, how have you found this week?
From a footballing point of view and a tournament point of view, I don't think we'll get any better. Our good boys from Bracknell have come over to play in this tournament, and we've played some amazing teams with different styles of football. So obviously Rangers were just a delight to watch and a pure way of playing football. The County Tyrone on Monday, again nothing wrong with it, but a completely different style of football. They were very direct, very passionate, very on the front foot, wanted to win tackles, wanted to get the ball forward. So from our point of view and a player point of view, very much a learning curve. And actually today, playing against a team from Chile, we've kind of tweaked the way we played today in order to kind of combat a tournament style football. We're back at home, we're very much development football, so we'll play through the thirds, we'll get the boys to do the right things. Well, today we went a little bit away from our normal methodology, kind of got the ball forward a bit quicker on quite a slow pitch actually today. The pitch wasn't as good as it has been on a couple of other days. But yeah, from a tournament point of view, I don't think our 14-year-old boys can play in anything stronger, to be honest.
So what's your aspirations, and now you've done this tournament, what's the aspirations for next year? Rolling forward a year, we're a year further down the line with our partnership. Mark, what do we want to do next year?
I think we've got plans that we brought one team out this year. I think we'll probably try and put a team in each age group next year. So if I'm right, it'll be 03s, 05s, 07s, so under 13s, 15s, 17s. Next year I think we'll put a team in each one of those. I think from our point of view, to make us more competitive than we perhaps have so this year, I think we've got to be conscious of our age group. Some of our boys playing in this tournament have been 16 to 18 months younger than some of the boys we're playing against, so I think we've got to be very conscious of who we're bringing out. Our boys are definitely good enough to play in it, but I think we've got to make sure we're at the right age so we compete with some of the bigger boys that are in it.
Mark, how do you compete in a competition like this when you come up against teams like Glasgow Rangers, Arsenal, Manchester United, Leeds, massive academy budgets? How does a non-league academy compete with your full-time professional academies at competitions like this?
It's about how we define success, I guess. For us at Global Premier Soccer, I think this is our 5th or 6th time here, and it's closing the gap every single year. Obviously some age groups are particularly stronger than others, and I think it's experience. Bringing people to these sorts of events, taking them away from their parents, living that sort of professional footballer life. It definitely, the more times you do it, I think it definitely helps. I think we're always learning. I think, obviously it's Bracknell's first experience of it. I know that, Steve and Liam and the guys here will definitely take away, the positives, but there'll be so much that they'll be able to use from this year operationally, on the field, off the field, that they'll be able to take back and, improve for future years. But for us, it's really just about training. It's about getting to see the standard more and more and more. Obviously one of the things that you guys had this year was obviously 2 players going to the Foil Cup who would have come in and probably have strengthened you and definitely helped you. I think having your best players available is incredibly important, and making sure your best players are playing and performing, I think, is incredibly important. Probably the age group thing, making sure, unless you've got high quality players of the year group below, having as many players of that, this year it'd be 06, 04, 02, age group, I think definitely helps. You know, because sometimes when you come up and play against, especially that junior section, because some of the kids are physically built 2 years older, or some of them can be physically built 2 years younger. So really, that junior age is really, really difficult, and I think, you know, that player selection and preparation is really important.
So just talk to me more about GPS and what they've brought out here and where the players have come from. So how many teams did you bring out this year?
So we brought out 3 teams. It belongs in our actual national team programme. So we bring together the best players from the 26 states in the US and the 3 provinces of Canada and Puerto Rico. They come and they attend a national team camp, and from that national team camp, players are selected for some of our summer activities. A lot of these players, we have a mass database, and a lot of these players are coming to various different touch points over the year. We check in with them. So these players, funny enough, actually have quite a lot of connectivity, but don't necessarily play with each other a lot. So what's really interesting for us to see is whether actually the GPS style is being implemented across all our different teams, because when they come to these things, I think one of the things that we've worked very hard to do, and one of the things that's becoming more and more evident with the individual team success and the player success that we're having at these sorts of events is that style of play across all these, you know, tens of thousands of players is similar, because when they're coming, you know, whether they're coming from California or, you know, Missouri, Kansas, Massachusetts, Ottawa, Puerto Rico, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, whatever, they actually understand how to play together, which I think is really, really interesting. And one of the things that we've been conscious of is making sure that, you know, we stick to our plan, stick to our player plan and our style of play, our system of play. So I think that's really, really important. And just to go back, but to touch upon one of the points Steve made earlier, tournament football, you know, 5 games in 5 days is incredibly important, and, you know, that how we continue to do that game in, game out becomes really, really important. But it's our national team. This is the first time we've brought 3 teams. It has been challenging operationally a little bit, you know, having those 3 teams, keeping them connected as a group, because, you know, we want the older group to be seen to be real role models for the younger ones, and that has happened. So there has been those issues, but it's been great. It's been great, and to have more variety of teams, to have Bracknell, and, you know, we played a team from Beijing today. You know, one of our teams plays against a team from Japan tomorrow. You guys got to play against a South American team. These aren't experiences even the American kids or the kids in the UK are getting within the local leagues. This is extraordinary opportunities, and I think it's stuff that we're saying to players to grasp, and hopefully they are. And it will 100%, these experiences for the Bracknell guys playing against Glasgow Rangers the other night in front of, you know, a kind of home crowd a little bit as well. But we'll make them better going back, and that will serve the youth of Bracknell.
I read on Twitter several supporters clubs came out in force to support the Rangers lads on Tuesday night.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's your aspirations this year, or your expectations on the international academy and the international partnership that we're forming? What do you want to see?
Yeah, we want to see progression of players. You know, we want to see the current crop of 18 come in and see where they fit, and this is where we'll work alongside Steve and Liam and the guys at Bracknell to say, right, you know, where can we go and strengthen? You know, we want to bring the best possible players we can to Bracknell Town. We want to provide them with that opportunity of playing with the 18s, 23s, and aspirationally the first team. You know, obviously young Gus from California played in this event last year. He's going to be one of our first cohorts, and we're excited to see, you know, we rate him within our national team programme, our late player pathway at GPS, and it'll be interesting to see where he fits in alongside the homegrown players that Bracknell Town have. But aspirationally is to get as many players out of that 18 playing in the Bracknell Town within that pathway as we can, and then taking the feedback and doing our best to ensure that in the coming years there's more of them. I would, trust me on this, it would be with great pride for us to see a GPS International Academy player playing for Bracknell Town. That is the aim, the initial aim.
Yeah, touching on Gus, I think Gus obviously was here with GPS last week at the Fall Cup.
Yep.
He landed in England this week. I believe he's trained already with the 23s and U18s back in England. And if I understand it right, looking at some of the messages going around today, he's already been selected to play in a pre-season friendly tomorrow night for the under-23s. Right. So, you know, I think the team back in England were really impressed with how he applied himself in
straight away we've got that pathway, haven't we? He's trained twice and he's now playing in our under-23s.
And that's the big thing, obviously. The opportunities are there for Bracknell Town, and what we want for the young players is to know that if they work hard, listen to the coaches, really embrace the experience, the opportunities are there for them. It's really up to them to grasp it. They're all coming here, they all think they're good players. We believe that they're good players. It's now up for them to step up, show that level of consistency within a full-time training environment, as well as the educational piece. And the opportunities are there for them if they're good enough and if they want to work hard enough to achieve them. And I think that's, for me, that's incredible. And again, we're looking forward to seeing where these players sort of fit in over the next 6 to 12 months. And then after that, we'll sit down, we'll review it and see, well, how can we get closer to, what type of players do we have to be offering this opportunity to that can close that gap, or what extra do we have to be providing them to make sure that we're getting more of these guys in that U23, hopefully on the cusp of the first team.
Superb. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us today, and good luck with the finals. I think they're all happening everywhere tomorrow.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Good luck to you.